Hello everyone, hope you're doing all right. So the last higher time frame market review of this week, since it's Friday, the 31st of March. So let's go over it. Tomorrow we have Zoom. We'll be closing this topic for now. Then of course, if you're still struggling with it, then please keep doing this and don't go to the next topic until you master this one. You don't have to completely master it, but until you get the basics. All right, let's go into it. First one, bonds. Came into this daily fair value gap. This is what we outlined yesterday as well. We just probably pushing higher right here. Probably pushing higher. If this is a fair value gap, it will probably come back down into here, then push higher again. Could possibly reach for this fair value gap right here. So then on the yields, like we mentioned, this fair value gap is now disrespecting it. We do have this order block. If bonds are willing to go even higher and take out this, then the yields will probably go down lower and take out the trend line liquidity finally. So that's something to look out for. Again, if we do, we're right now in this fair value gap, which is interesting. Then if we do disrespect this fair value gap, I expect a new fair value gap to be created right here. Then we trade into this fair value gap and then continue lower. For dollar, dollar was quite interesting. I had some homework for you guys as well. Yesterday I had some homework, and today as well. I wanted you guys to study the candle closes and how the candles are reacting. Now, this was not the best day to do it because it wasn't a very clean day, but it was still interesting. First, in the beginning of the day, we rejected big of this order block right here, and then we had a big wick right here. But this candle came back higher, closed inside the order block. That made me a little bit suspicious that it didn't want to go further down. So then after we just saw consolidation, so that was a bit shitty. I'm not sure right now what it wants to do, if it wants to continue lower. Order flow is still bearish, but there are no great signs of rejection here. It's failing to push lower right here. We did mention yesterday that this is likely not the low of the week. This is a fake bottom. Then we had a sweep of the fake bottom, pushed higher, and now we're just consolidating right here. We could potentially next week reach for the equal highs here, close in this gap, then drop lower, or even reach into this area right here and then drop lower, or drop lower from here. Who knows? I'm not really sure at this moment in time. Then for ES, just pushing higher. Nothing really crazy about it, just pushing higher. Came into this order block today, then pushing higher. I'm not sure if we outlined this. I think we did. We probably did. I'm just gonna say it. I did. I did outline it. Perfect. I'm not sure. I have to watch it back. On Nasdaq, again pushing higher as well. Came off this order block, closed above the high, then pushing higher. If we wanted higher prices, we would love to see this order block hold, which did happen. So that's perfect. Nifty finally out the consolidation. Perfect. Pushing higher with a big gap, came into this fair value gap on the weekly. Could see it come into this order block and then continue lower probably, or higher. Not sure. I don't trade Nifty, so couldn't tell you for sure. But next target I would say is the open of this order block. Then for DAX, DAX is clearly aiming for these highs right now, just pushing higher. I had no opportunity to get into DAX, unfortunately, but I made my money earlier in the week, so I'm fine with it. No opportunities here, didn't trade back into any fair value gap. It did trade back into this gap. As you can see, this is a gap right here. On the lower time frame, it's a gap. So push back lower, then push higher. If it now wants to continue higher, I would expect it to come back here into this fair value gap, possibly this order block, and then push higher to take out these highs, which is very clean. On the monthly, it's very clean price action. This big wick, boom, pushing higher. We outlined it perfectly, I think, this week. We did very well this week for our high time frame analysis. I think we did very, very well. Euro GBP, again, as outlined, also this fair value gap. Now it's dropping. We could reach for the lows again, but it's not displacing to either side. So this is something I want to stay out of for sure. Then on EU, EU is rejecting off of this order block right here, or a rejection block, sorry. It didn't take out the highs, which is a bit unfortunate. I would love to see it take the highs eventually. If it does want to continue higher, I would love to see it continue higher from here, as it failed to displace from here. Now, if it takes these lows, it would be a bit concerning for me. So that's something to take into account. It could, of course, still come down into this fair value gap right here. A bit unsure about EU right now. Not really sure what it wants to do. Ideally, I want to see higher prices, but also depends a lot on the dollar. Then for GU, clean price action, very clean. Came off this order block, pushed higher. Then on the daily, we swept previous day low into this gap and then pushed higher. Very clean price action. Also as outlined, so that's nice. Always nice to have. This fair value gap was our target on USD CAD, which we reached for the week. So that's nice. Then we see this reaction right here from this fair value gap as well. We're still bearish, in my opinion, still bearish until we break this high again, start disrespecting this fair value gap and push higher and start respecting some discount rates. So not trying to call a bottom right here. I still want to see more price action until we can say we are bullish, or right now we're bearish. Until we can say we're bullish, I do want to see more price action and not call anything right now. But we could possibly reach for this daily fair value gap right here. So yeah, that's perfect on AUD USD. Consolidating week. Again, we did outline this as well. Well, this is something we outlined pretty nicely. I think I said if we trade up here, we could cap the week and then just fall off, retrace, or just do whatever it wants, consolidate like it already was doing. So this is what I outlined, that we could reach for this 4-hour fair value gap, and then after see what it wants to do. Here created another fair value gap indicating displacement away from this fair value gap. Then now if we do want to continue lower, I would expect it to move lower here from this fair value gap. So that's something pretty cool to see, that we also outlined that as well. Then for USD JPY, this is also something as we outlined. We did leave these equal lows here. We'll probably take them out next. Since we're now coming into this weekly fair value gap, I would expect a drop lower, possibly low hanging fruit, targeting these equal lows right here with this fair value gap. This is also something we outlined. We expected this high to go, was a pretty clear drawn liquidity. So if you did capitalize on it, I take 60% off of your profit, because that's in the NDA. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. No, you can keep the profit. But I think we did great. I think we did great with our higher time frame market analysis this week. I think we were very accurate. We reacted very well. And especially you can see how it's pretty simple. It's really not that hard, and getting involved is even easier. So it's really not that hard. The only thing that's hard about getting involved, executing, is psychology, which we'll get into later on as well. But you'll see it's pretty simple. It's just, yeah, for me, obviously, it's easy now to say it's simple. I've maybe been doing it longer as well. So it's just a simple routine that I follow, and I'll share the routine with you all. You already have my routine as well, but I'll share it. I'll share more steps to how to get to a clearer drawn liquidity, how to execute clearly, how to keep your psychology in check clearly. I have something structured, a better structure, because I think that's very important. Something with more structure. I have something coming up, so that's interesting. And then, yeah, I think we did great this week. We anticipated this drawn liquidity, this weekly fair value gap perfectly. Then GBB cut, GBB cut. Let's see. Yeah, this is also what we outlined perfectly. We actually did very well this week. Very well. Very happy with the performance. We mentioned that if we closed here yesterday, we obviously see a fair value gap forming here. So we could sweep the previous day high and then fill the fair value gap and then drop lower, which is exact thing that happened today. So again, if you profited off of it, great job. You owe me money? No, you don't owe me anything. I'm joking. All right, then the equal lows targeting right here and continuing lower right here. If it wants to close here again, then we have this new fair value gap on the 4-hour to continue lower from. So something like this is what I would expect coming into next week probably. We also mentioned this inversion level, this whole held as support. Then we swept previous day high, came into the daily fair value gap. Daily fair value gap is of course stronger than a 4-hour fair value gap, so it broke through it, continuing lower. Then on Bitcoin, I'm actually in a trade right now on Bitcoin as well. This is exactly as outlined as well. It's pretty cool to see because I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's video, and I do recommend, if you have not watched all of them, go from the start, from Monday, or no, go from Sunday and watch Monday, Tuesday, etc., etc., etc. Watch every day in order, because that's then it will make sense. If you watch Friday first and then Monday, it won't make sense, because you can see how I adapt, you can see how I react, you can see why I think certain things, etc., etc. So it's very good for your own development. So please do it for yourself. Of course, you don't have to do it for me. I don't really care if you do it or not. Of course, I care if you succeed, but if yeah, like I said, it's for your own development. It's for you, not for me. Then again, yeah, this is what we outlined. We said, okay, if this day closes, then we have a fair value gap right here. I hate this line because it's, I don't know, it's I do have a solution to it. Aha. Now the line is gone. Okay, so you can see here we have this fair value gap right here, indicating that if we close this day, like we said yesterday, then we have this fair value gap with previous day low. So we could sweep previous day low and then continue higher till the weekly target right here, which is the weekly order block right here. And we swept also previous week low into this fair value gap. Then here, same story, just fractal, closed yesterday, Thursday, then previous day low sweep into this fair value gap like outlined, and then pushing higher. Now this is a trade I'm currently in. I am currently expecting higher prices. Not sure if it does want to continue higher, but that's just what I expect. This is the current trade I'm in, targeting the weekly objective. So if it wants to do it in the weekend, I have some extra money in the weekend. I can buy some extra food. I will be very happy. So yeah, this is a quick trade that I placed right now. Let's see if it wants to win or lose. This is also a line of defense. If this closes right here, we do have fair value gap. Ideally, I would want a sweep of this candle into this breaker overlapping with the fair value gap, and then a push higher. That would be awesome. So yeah, that's it. That's it. Tomorrow we'll go over the weekly again, just to see what the weekly did real quick, and the weekly templates. But not for too long. Then we'll close the higher time frame analysis topic for this week. Then in the next enrollment for the new people, we'll open it again. And of course, in the meantime, I'll still go over it, because for execution, the high time frame analysis is super, super, super important. So that's why we're first doing this. So I'll still go over it, just maybe quicker, because I don't have the time to go through every pair in the evening and then also show the executions, etc., etc. That's very time consuming and not efficient, and I want to have you guys and women, of course, sorry, to have you all learn as efficiently as possible. That's my goal here. So yeah, tomorrow we'll close this topic, like I said, for the 10th time, and then we'll start with execution. I'll give some introduction to execution. I'll give you some insights how to form and get in sync with the market, and give you some inspiration to create your own entry model. By now, I think if you, of course, this is only 1 week. Please, please, please. If you still struggle with higher time frame analysis, don't worry. This is only 1 week. You're probably not gonna grasp it in 1 week. I just structured it like this because, of course, most people are not, or most people just have 1 month for the enrollment. So this is why I structure it like this, just to give you most insight and make it fair for everyone. Of course, if you're staying longer, you'll probably have more understanding at the end of maybe 3 months. But that's up to you. I'm not going to force you to stay here or anything, but just letting you know that you'll probably not grasp it within the first week, especially not if you're new. So you have to submit to time, very important. It will take time to learn all this. It will take time to master it, for sure. It took me way longer than I expected. So just know it will probably take you way longer than you expected it to. That's always a good measurement. All right, so this was it for the high time frame market analysis again, and I'll see you tomorrow at the Zoom. Bye bye, and thank you.